morning, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Hallie Kilberg
and Miranda Peters. On today's show, we'll be discussing the Junior Achievement Program,
interviewing Marquette's middle school language arts teacher, Mr. Josh Erickson,
answering more advice-related questions, and You Ask, We Answer,
giving you, as always, all of the Marquette sports and updates,
and telling you about something big, the approaching Advent season.
But before we dive into all of that, let's focus on just the opposite, something small. As you may know, today is Small Business Saturday.
This idea came to be in Massachusetts in 2010 to offset Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
It encourages people to shop locally and support small businesses.
So where can you go today? We here in Bellevue are lucky enough to have many small and original businesses, including bakeries, hardware stores, knick-knack stores, photography studios, pharmacies, customized apparel shops, and many pizza places, just to name a few.
Bellevue does have 5 different places to buy pizza, which is fairly a lot for a town with roughly 2,000 people.
What else would citizens of Bellevue like to see in our town? I'd like to see a store to buy shoes.
And I love Bellevue a lot, but I think it'd be great to see a place to get clothes or buy jewelry or somewhere to get perfume.
So basically you want a super Target in Bellevue?
I don't know if that counts as small business, but yeah. And in case we do get a super Target in Bellevue, here is Justina Denlinger to tell us about how Marquette K-5 students are learning financial literacy and other real-life business concepts. Take it away, Justina.
This year, Marquette students in grades K-5 are taking part in the Junior Achievement Program. Junior Achievement is a nationwide program which focuses on financial literacy such as money management and business concepts such as entrepreneurship to prepare students for the global marketplace. The program is made possible by community volunteers who share their business expertise with the students they serve. Billy Myers, the Senior Manager of Operations at Sedgwick in Bellevue, and her niece Taya Olszewski bring the program to Marquette students. The 2 volunteers spend 30 minutes each week in each K-5 classroom sharing the Junior Achievement curriculum specific to each grade. Marquette's Junior Achievement Program started last week and will continue through Christmas. For those interested, Junior Achievement was founded in 1919 in Massachusetts and, at the time, consisted basically of after-school clubs for high school students that focused on business-related concepts. Thanks to the volunteers and businesses that sponsored Junior Achievement, not only for Marquette, but for so many other schools across the state and nation. And thanks to those businesses who support Marquette in Motion. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Justina Denlinger. Stay tuned. More Marquette in Motion after this word from our sponsors.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. As many of you know, tomorrow ushers in the beginning of Advent. Here to tell us more about the season is Catherine Heimbuck.
As you may know, Christmas is less than a month away. Everyone is getting excited and making their Christmas list, but we still have 4 weeks of Advent before we get there. What is Advent, you may ask? The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, and it means coming or arrival. Advent begins tomorrow and is preparing us both for the birth of Jesus and his second coming. In many churches, you will start to see wreaths with candles in them during Advent. There are 4 candles in the wreath to represent the 4 weeks of Advent. 3 of them are violet and 1 is pink. The lit candles represent how many weeks of Advent have gone by, and the unlit candles represent how many remain. Another tradition this time of year is the Advent calendar, which counts down the days until the celebration of the birth of Christ. If you are interested in coming to church this Advent season, there will be K-12 school prayer services every Monday at 8:25 a.m. in St. Joseph's Church. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Catherine Heimbuck.
Thanks, Catherine. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show. You ask, we answer. You ready, guys?
Sure. We're ready.
All right, our first question reads, I'm having trouble studying for a test with all the content covered in my class. What do you think is the most effective way to study for a test and why?
Well, this can vary depending on the class you're in and the material you are trying to learn. If it's more like vocabulary, you can make a Quizlet set, which is an online flashcard site, and you can play different games to help you remember the terms and their meanings. If it's a math test, then you might just want to write down all the formulas and different things that you need to know onto a piece of paper and just be looking at it periodically just to remember those formulas, but not during the test.
And the second question is, I'm a junior and I'm trying to find a college that's fit for me. What are the big factors that you considered when choosing your future college?
The big factors that I considered was, first of all, the price range. I think that should be one of your biggest decisions in factoring in college. So there's three major things: the price range, how well the college teaches what your intended major will be, and thirdly, if you feel comfortable on the campus. And if it's a low price range, they teach your major very well and are known for that subject, and you like the campus, I'm sure that it'll be a good fit for you.
And last but not least, how early is too early to start celebrating Christmas?
Well, I usually use the general rule of thumb that you should wait after Thanksgiving, but since I have already heard a couple weeks worth of Christmas songs, obviously most people don't go by that rule because they're so anxious for the big day.
I think that's true. I think definitely wait until after Thanksgiving, if not the 1st of December.
Great advice, boys, as always. Stay tuned. More with these two in sports and updates coming up after these words from our sponsors. Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now with all the sports and updates are Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig.
Thanks, Hallie. Marquette's girls' JV and varsity basketball teams kicked off their season by playing in their first games this past Tuesday against Central City. We will have those results here for you in next week's show. And the girls will have their next games, as well as the boys in their first games, this Friday at Midland.
Thanks, Jonathan. Next week, on December 1st, the Marquette Quiz Bowl team will compete in their second meet, held at Clinton Community College. Here are some sample questions to give you a taste of what the competitions are really like. The first question: these numbered triplets include 3, 4, and 5, and 5, 12, and 13. They give you the side lengths of a right triangle. What are these triples called? Second question: bosons obey statistics named for Boise and this man, the winner of the 1921 Nobel Prize for Physics, for his discovery of the photoelectric effect. Who is this man? And the third and final question: scientists believe that this object ejected Oort cloud objects into long orbits. This gaseous planet was visited by the New Horizons spacecraft, which used its great gravity to propel itself on its journey to Pluto. Name this planet. And we'll have the answers for the Quiz Bowl questions after the interview.
And finally, don't forget to come down to listen to Marquette's annual Christmas concerts with the preschool through 5th grade concert on December 13th at 6:30 and the middle school through high school concert on December 14th, also starting at 6:30.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Sam Peters
And Jonathan Herrig
with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, guys. Here with this week's interview are Kelsey Gerlach and Brooklyn Moore.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore,
And I'm Kelsey Gerlach.
and today we'll be interviewing Mr. Erickson.
So, Mr. Erickson, for those who don't know, what exactly is your position here at Marquette Catholic?
I am the middle school language arts teacher.
What specific classes do you teach?
I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade English and language arts.
So, what are some goals you have set this year for those grades?
One of the things I wanted to do was create more opportunity for students to interact with text by kind of writing what they're thinking while reading. And then I also wanted to introduce more speech where they get the opportunity to speak in front of others and practice that very important skill.
Would you mind explaining the 6th grade Read Aloud unit to our audience? I believe it's new.
Yes, the 6th graders picked out a children's book, and they've been practicing it for a week or two and focusing on their fluency, which is their ability to speak clearly and quickly. And then they are reading that story to preschool, kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade.
Okay, so I believe you're working on a master's degree right now. What made you decide to continue your education after receiving your bachelor's degree?
Well, I've finished my master's degree over the summer. Yeah, I'm accomplished now. I wanted to kind of be an expert in the reading field and to be a resource for any teachers that might want it.
That's good. Okay, so what was your favorite class you ever took in college?
My favorite class was called Young Adolescent Literature, which was basically showing us the current literature that students in middle school are reading. I enjoyed it because I got to read young adult novels all day. That was my entire class. So
Sounds fun.
So you were always my favorite middle school teacher. Who was your favorite teacher?
Ooh.
In college.
What was
and
his-
just in college.
Okay, I'll go college. My favorite, I had two. One's name was Michelle Vosberg. She was my she's like the reading guru at Clark, and she taught me basically everything I know about reading. And then I also had Larry Bice, who was just a really good teacher who knows how middle schoolers work, and he kind of taught me about the psychology of middle school students.
Okay, I have one last question for you. What's your favorite book?
It kind of depends on the day, but my all-time favorite is probably Ender's Game. I don't really want to say much more about it because I don't want to spoil it, but...
Okay, well, thanks for letting us interview you, Mr. Erickson, and thanks to everyone for listening. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore
And Kelsey Gerlach.
with Tell Us More.
But
And the answers to your quiz bowl questions. The first answer was Pythagorean triples. The second, Albert Einstein. And the third, Jupiter. Thanks for playing along with us.
Thanks for that Quiz Bowl game, Sam. Thanks, Brooklyn and Kelsey, for another great interview, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Hallie Kilberg.
And Miranda Peters. And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
In motion!